the quest for smart agriculture. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Botswana Television.
Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.
All right. Now let's start a conversation by understanding how have recent weather patterns impacted farming operations in this country?
The obvious one would be definitely this crop loss in terms of, if you look at, because that was an abnormal rain because we had a storm. And so in certain areas over a period of less than 24 hours, we received rain exceeding 200 millimeters. So we had crop loss, there is soil erosions, there was a huge infrastructure damage. Yes, obviously, depending again on the type of soil where you are, soil erosion. So those are some of the impacts that I could say, you know, would be the ones that I'll put at the top that have affected the majority of the farmers nationally.
All right. Now, what are strategies being put in place to address these challenges? Because we understand, he already mentioned some of the challenges that farmers are going through because of the recent floods that we have seen. What are those, strategies that we are being put in place that have been discussed to mitigate this, problem?
We are talking agroecology, 1, 2. Smart agriculture, like having protected areas in the farms for both livestock and crops, and just modern farming technologies in general. Yes.
All right. Now coming back to you, Sehore, what are some of the innovative solutions and technologies being explored, to help farmers adapt to climate-related issues such as, heat waves, the heavy rains, and the frost that we've seen of recent years? The
basic one, which is very common now, then I'm glad a lot of people are practicing it, especially when you look in the horticulture industry, is irrigation, specifically drip irrigation. And then we have a few, but it's not a large number, who are now adopting the modern methods of hydroponics. That is also a modern method. The other one, which I think, to me, this is something that, looking at what happened in the past week, is when you look, especially maybe compared to places across the board, South Africa as an example, everyone who embraces technology and do the farming, all that we do, be it cattle, be it crop production, majority of us, where do we get our water is from boreholes. So maybe it's about time that we start harvesting these waters by creating dams. So already we know what happened in Gaborone with the dam flooding and affecting areas from Klokweng right up to Muchudi and other areas. Why did not we create some places where we could harvest that water that we could use? So those are some of the things that we have to look at. Yeah.
All right. That's incredible. Now, as the president of an organization, how do we come up with these solutions and making sure that farmers, they implement all these new technologies that would help, mitigate the challenges that we go through? Because I understand the whole world is moving towards that. They're embracing technology and imparting it within, their strategies.
It's training and benchmarking. Because last year, we saw a difference in we went to our members went to some of our members went to South Africa and the Limpopo area and Zimbabwe, and we realized that they are doing things differently than us. Like they are practicing conservation agriculture, and their yields are higher than ours. And then the other thing is the way they operate, again, is totally different from us, because farmers, they don't spend a lot of time at in towns like us, like weekend farmers. They stay in the farms. So now we are encouraging our members to stay at the farms and practice good agricultural practices, because surely if you are at the farm, it's easier to practice it than when you just come in and you relate to your staff. So it helps. And like I said, like I mentioned, that networking is very important. Because when we network with our sister associations in the region, it makes it easier to learn what they do best and how they performed. Then there's always this knowledge sharing. And we always do it through the Zoom meetings, say like maybe connecting with one of our sister associations, like mostly it's Madagascar, Eswatini, Lesotho, and Namibia. So they are always there to share what they do best in their respective countries. So our members are enjoying that, because if you do a Zoom meeting for knowledge sharing, you can, even 3,000 farmers can be in the platform. So that's what's helping us for now. And we've now, this year, we are going to embark in a lot of training for our farmers. We are starting next month. Then thereafter, every month, our farmers will be trained in different commodities.
All right.
Yes.
That's incredible. Now, she partly answered the question that I was about to ask you about the collaboration between countries like South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. How does it help strengthen the agriculture sector in the whole region? We are talking about, not only selling for us as Botswana, we want to go out.
Remember, you have countries, and what you've created, what you call borders or boundaries, is something that is artificial. But when it comes to agriculture production, as we've seen with FMD in the livestock, diseases and pests, they don't know borders. So collaboration should be fundamental to all bordering states. So it's a bit disappointing, I must express this, because in 2009, I attended a forum in Johannesburg, and this thing was covered in terms of SADC. We should be looking at that. So the collaboration will help. If I were to, because we come in from the University of Horticulture in Agriculture. In 2011, there was an oversupply, but it's something that probably you do not even know. There was an oversupply of onions in this country. Oversupply, and we don't even know how to sell them. So what happened is that the Ministry of Agriculture tried to contact countries neighboring us, Namibia, that can they take these onions. Unfortunately, the gap that she mentions, that is the basic standards that you have to meet for you to export. So the point I'm trying to make in terms of collaboration is, it's an opportunity for us as Botswana then to produce, because we can produce what is called the short day length onions. So we plant them between February, March, then they'll be harvested maybe around September, October. So we do that in large volumes. Then we supply within the region. We've already set up a citrus plant in Silibepikwe.
Yeah.
We are landlocked. Okay, we don't have access to ports for export. So this is where the collaboration works. So the area of Silibepikwe, Tuli Block area, that belt, the climate there is almost similar to the one that you find in Limpopo. So we could produce the same crops that are produced there, produced on the other side. But then where the collaboration comes in is on the management of diseases, that is a control of disease, be it on the livestock, be it pest for fruits. That's where you find collaboration is fundamental for the industry to grow or to work.
That's incredible. Now, still with you, what are some of the latest advancements in farming practices that could, significantly benefit local farmers? You mentioned something that is very profound. Something that we could look at Limpopo, as you've already mentioned, the issue. They even supply Botswana. So what are some of the advancements that we've seen in recent future, in the recent, past?
Okay, I would let me look. I would focus more on in the horticulture industry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because probably I wouldn't want to dwell too much in terms of your livestock.
Yeah.
So we people technology and Kibaka near the hydroponics and everything. A number of farms, it comes at a high capitalization. I think we need to accept that.
Yeah.
But those who are able to raise the capital, they have embraced that technology, hydroponics. So it's not only Limpopo. Remember Limpopo and including Botswana, we are part of what you call the Southern Hemisphere. So when you're in the Southern Hemisphere, some of a lot of products in the horticulture industry, including the citrus, this is seasonal. And the fact that this is seasonal, it means then that when the Northern Hemisphere is out of season, So for those in that area, it's an opportunity. Yeah, an opportunity for you now to it means embracing those new technologies. The hydroponics, whether the greenhouse for those that I can afford. So that's just for some development that we are seeing. But probably it's not at a scale in what we wish it could be. But if we really want to enhance agriculture, to contribute in terms of diversification of the economy in a larger part, we need to do more in terms of investment.
That's incredible. Now, coming back to you, how important is networking within the agricultural industry, and what role does it play in fostering collaboration and sharing knowledge among farmers and experts?
It helps the farmers quickly, because whoever is sharing the knowledge have gone through the loopholes. So then whoever now is adopting it will avoid those loopholes that were encountered by the predecessors. So that has helped us a lot, especially when it comes to knowledge sharing, because the people are talking about the people are on the ground. It's realistic information. So it's not like information that's that you see in the newspapers or in one of those books. So yes, and collaboration and networking is extremely very important, because farming is not easy. It's not for the light-hearted. Farming is scary at times, but then if you network with the right people in the right platforms, it helps ease up the scary part and ease up again the complicated parts, because then it becomes very simple, because then you are adopting what has been tried and tested. Then you just go with the flow. You're not discovering something new. No. Most definitely. So that's why we find it very important for us. It's good because we collaborate with all our sister associations in SADC, because we are part of that network. So it's really helping. We've seen the difference with that networking of the region, and now the best part is we are in East Africa as well. So we've seen it all. So it has really helped our farmers. Right. Yes. Now we've got less than 4 minutes to wrap up this conversation. Now, what steps have been taken to advance the agriculture sector in Botswana, and how can partnership between local and international stakeholders contribute to its growth? We are not operating in silos. Yes, she already mentioned that we are also having to work with others outside this. So what are those advancements that need to be done in partnership that ought to be there?
We need to go back to the basics. We're talking about associations, but the basics is, if you look at the history of Botswana going back to the 70s, the basics is that we need to go back and strengthen our cooperatives. The industry primarily going back to the 70s was run by agricultural cooperatives, which then eventually grew, turning opening up stores and that. So by setting up those cooperatives, because you're looking at from most of small scale farmers, some are doing 1 hectare, some are doing 2 hectares and everything. So once they form the cooperatives, the clusters, that helps in terms of training in workers, it helps in terms of educating. And then looking at the international market and everything, this is when now, when you're looking at contracts that could be signed, is that you have people that they've been trained, they have the capacity. Because remember, whoever in the whole value chain in terms of development, you at the end of the chain, you are the one who's pulling the chain. You're not pushing it. You dictate what you want. So you're the person at the end of the chain, he's not going to compromise, just like a retail store, just like a fast food outlet, compromise the standard. I'm going to buy your chicken because you have to do it according to the standard, not according to your standard. So that's what needs to be done. So if we can develop these clusters, it's something which they were there before. And rather than exactly what you said, doing things in silos, that will not take us anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still with you as your last words before coming to her. Wrapping up the conversation, Botswana has been experiencing extreme weather conditions that are unpredictable.
Yes.
Some farmers are losing hope. They don't know how to relate with these extreme weather conditions. Your last words, maybe to those who might, think they should give up. We are talking about sustainability and making sure that we provide for our own country.
We can't give up. And the thing is that we need to draw a line between the climate and the weather. Because the climate is that, Botswana is semi-arid and it's a dry country. And we have less rainfall in areas like this, maybe annual 400 millimeters. But the weather is something that is unexpected. It can, from nowhere, as you saw last week, we had that storm that we had like, say, 200 millimeters of rain in certain areas. And all I can say is, yes, maybe with the assistance of government, we can make preparations for that. But if you are going to spend and say, no, maybe you're going to have some other, floods like we did last week, what are the chances? No, they're not that high. So we just have to deal with the time that is there. Because my daily mantra for anybody who wants to break into farming is understand that you are dealing with living things. So just like humans, how for me retain. So living things, they die, they get sick, everything that you can think about human beings. So that will make you be prepared how farming is all about.
Right. Yeah. That's incredible. Now we are wrapping up. Balimi ba lo reditse lo tswa mo ma khotleng ya la leng gore ke a dilang le bone balemi dipula ke tse diteng diemo tsa loapi tse leng gore ga ba khone go di laola. What's your last words to them?
Climate change is with us. So we always have to be prepared for it. And like I said, farming is not for the light-hearted. We don't give up. We always have to push on and invest in the protected areas, like I said before, for both livestock and crops. Like the tunnel producers, they are smiling. They haven't been affected. The greenhouse producers, they're just smiling. There's no problem. So that's what I call the protected area. So if we invest a little bit in those, we will never go wrong. And like I said, farming is not for the light-hearted. You have to have passion, and you have to learn to persevere.
Despite the situation.
Precisely.
Thank you so much. And that is how we come to the end of this conversation.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
And that is how we come to the end of this conversation. Remember, heading through with me, Botswana Farmers Association President and co-founder, Ms. Diane, Sibanda, and Mr. Michael Diteko, meteorologist. We're talking about the solutions that farmers had to employ in quest for smart agriculture growth in this country. Don't move. I'm coming right back with the 5 o'clock news.
The ministry, through the Department of Wildlife and National Parks, partnered with the University of Botswana, specifically the Okavango Research Institute, to consult Botswana and develop the National Human-Wildlife Conflict Strategy.